Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Gibson Show, where today we are joined by the boy wonder Spoit from Koi. Spoit, how you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you doing, Gibson?
I'm doing good. So, when you started off your competitive career a few weeks ago, did you think that you'd reach the highs of getting on an episode of the Gibson Show?
I mean, it's an honor to be here. So yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it, and we'll see how it goes, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, we'll just have a bit of a conversation today. We'll talk a little bit about your career, your interests out of
Yep.
Siege, the signing with Rogue and then Rogue becoming Koi. We'll have a bit of fun with it. So I suppose we'll kick off. The very first time I heard the name Spoit was a couple of years ago. This name started popping up on Twitter, a couple of clips coming up on my YouTube recommended. I think you got known for one taps, pretty famous for one taps back in the day.
Yep.
When you started creating content on YouTube, did you think it was going to lead to not only you being one of the most subscribed to Siege creators in the world, 700 million plus views, I think you have at this point. You're also a major champion. Did you see that as potential whenever you started?
I mean, everything happened quite fast, if I'm going to be honest with you. I was just this normal kid playing Siege with my friends after school and whatnot. And then, I just wanted to be like my friends, just, show my clips. And so I started uploading on YouTube, and the views just happened overnight. I think, yeah, during the first three weeks or something, I managed to get like 16K followed me that night. And I woke up, I was just amazed. It was just amazing. And then everything from there just went on, and I kept growing, and yeah.
And do you feel like the way Siege rules at the time, where you had to be 18 to properly play Pro League, how much do you think that maybe motivated you, or do you think it actually made you a better player by having to wait, those extra couple of years to get into the scene?
I mean, the fact that I had to wait until I was 18 was quite annoying, because I was playing comp when I was like 15, 16, 17. In these underage leagues with some of my other friends are already playing in E-League right now, such as Benjamaster. We got Jakes playing now in the open calls for or the closed calls for SI. We got Savage, and these are some of the names I used to play, and we used to play together all the time in these underage tournaments and whatnot. But as soon as so that was the only thing we played, and we scrimmed tier 1 teams and tier 2 teams at the time, and yeah, but eventually, like, these kind of underage tournaments or whatever, they got. So I used to play Nordic, and this was before Nordic actually became a regional league or whatever. So you can go through Nordic and then into CL and whatnot. And before that was a thing, it was 16 plus, I think. Yeah, so it from the start it was 13 plus, and then it turned 16 plus, and I was playing it in the 13 plus era and the 16 plus era. Up until they made it 18 plus. So, and that's when I decided to take a break and focus on content and stuff. So I had a bit of a break before I started playing combat for real.
Do you think that your name and the follower thing you had on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube, did that add any pressure for you going in to start playing competitive gameplay? Like, because everybody kind of had that target on your back saying, "Oh, this is Spoit, this is the new kid coming up on the block. We want to take him down." Like, how did it feel for you making that jump into, competitive play with Rogue?
Of course, I was very nervous, getting into things. I didn't want to like choke and, letting people down, a lot of my fans and stuff. It was similar to when Bolo joined TSM. I can imagine what kind of pressure he had. Yeah, but obviously I didn't want to let everyone down, so that was definitely a factor. But it turned out to be pretty well, got to the major and managed to win it, so I couldn't have dreamed of a better situation.
Yeah, so let's talk the whole process of you joining Rogue. Obviously, I spoke to Tristan before it all came out, and he was pretty confident about, getting that deal over the line, but there's bound to have been a lot of teams looking for your signature. So how many offers did you have, and then what was it about Rogue that made you decide to sign for them?
So I was trialing for 3 pro teams at a time. I was trialing with Secret, Navi, and Rogue. And then there was talks about back in the day with G2 or something, but that was a while ago. well, that was before the whole super roster with Alemao and that. But yeah, I was trying with these three teams, Na'Vi, Secret, and Rogue, and just the way Rogue approached me in a professional way, and the way they had like things planned, and obviously I'd watched the team before in stage 1. So yeah, I started in stage 2, so I watched them in stage 1 and stuff, and I just saw like they had like that kind of spark and fire to them, which I really liked, and yeah, I just knew that was the place. And I played with Deepak before. He joined Rogue as well. We played for a mixed team, so I had a little bit of chemistry there, and yeah, it just felt right.
And I think when you look at the people involved in Rogue, it looks like it is just 5 mates having a laugh. You know, I know that you work pretty hard behind the scenes, but it does seem that there's this energy about that team that there isn't about others. I've been asked to ask you one specific question though. When you joined the team, I heard Crying had a very interesting welcome for you when you went to your first boot camp.
Yeah, so we we like to have a laugh, and I'm not as big as Crying and Deepak. Me and Kent are all the smaller guys on the team, and when you have someone that just weighs like 40-50 kilos, he can toss you around however he wants. So so I like to be quite jokey during scrims and whatnot, and like to make fun of Crying. Yeah. If you potatoes or something. So when we were at boot camp and I did something like that, he just picked me up on my chair and started, making fun of me. And we have like a video recorded. I don't think, the community hasn't seen it, but it's like for close friends for now. It will be out on Twitter someday.
Someday.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Because you could probably guess who told me to ask you about that. I'm sure it wouldn't take too much to have a think. So you think then about you joining, and you talk about the impact that rookies, we'll call you a rookie, even though you did play, lower tiered stuff, Nordics you spoke about. You were essentially a rookie to tier 1. You aged in at 18. You'd taken the break. It was pretty much a complete honeymoon from the start. Like that stage, you guys played phenomenal, and then you went to the major, and some of those clips with you running around with the LMG at times, you really caught, I think, the Siege World's imagination with how you were able to play. That magic, though, it fell off a little bit, after the major. So why do you think the team didn't perform in stage 3 when you think of how good you were in stage 2 and at the major?
Coming into, so everything went perfect up until Berlin Major. We won it. We took a break like every other team does. Heading into stage 3, we had the Na'Vi first game day, and I think we had like 1 or 2 weeks of scrims just before the stage starting as well. So we were quite shaky on things, and to be honest, we didn't change up things at all. We ran the same old strats and everything. And yeah, I think we were just too relaxed coming into things. And that this is something we have reflected on after as a team, and we knew, So as soon as we didn't qualify for the Jönköping Major, we just had this big talk, and we were just discussing through the stage and what we think we did wrong and certain things like that. And then we just come to the conclusion we were just too relaxed, and we didn't properly focus, and things like teams would be prepared for us, and so we were just a bit too relaxed, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think the only good thing is it's not an anomaly. A lot of teams that win a major tend to have a bit of an off season afterwards. Even SI, TSM, they went off a bit dark. DZ, they didn't play the same for the next couple of stages. So there is that kind of trend of teams not performing after winning, and I think there is that whole thing too. Everybody wants to beat you. Once you've won a major, everyone in your area wants to take you down. Yeah. So take us back then to the major itself and the final. And even the game against, in the previous game you played before, the atmosphere was pretty electric in the crowd. How much of that can you feel from up on the stage? Because obviously you were very elevated in Berlin. You were looking down on the audience almost. I know that you're wearing in-ears and you've got the over-ears that have ambient noise and stuff, but how aware were you of that atmosphere?
If someone does something crazy, like a crazy kill or something, you can always hear it in the mic. But it's like when you're playing the game, you kind of you kind of just think about the game and your teammates when you play, and you kind of zone out from the whole like from the people around you. At least for me. So that wasn't really a problem for me. Just like after each round when we're picking operators and discussing, obviously that's when we can hear it the most. And I feel like that was the electric moments. For example, when we went up 3 rounds on the third map against Exit, we had this crazy lead. Yeah, it was just insane, to be honest. Yeah.
And then the minute that the final kill came in, you know, Big ET DPEC obviously got the echo involved in that final round, all the way through to full overtime match point in the final of a major, hopping up over the bar, the kills gotten, you just win it. What did that moment actually feel like? Because not very many people, other than you and like EFAC and a few others, win a major at their first attempt.
Yeah, so the thing is with being a rookie in that sense, I don't think it would mean. Of course, it means a lot. Like it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my whole life. It's one of the best achievements ever. But like being this rookie going into things, it's kind of like your first, the first time you're experiencing it. It's not like you've gone through like years and just trying. I think that feeling is a lot different to the one I experienced. But in the moment, everything is just so hectic. We're just so happy. There is this video that someone recorded behind of us, just recording all of us when it happened. We just started jumping around, and it's insane. But yeah, like I said, my feeling is probably way different to, for example, Leon, who's been around for a while, and same with Meepy, the coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, nonetheless, an amazing feeling for both of us.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to Crying that night as well after you won it, and he's a bit of a hurt. Him and DPEC, they've got this kind of Hercules vibe going about them, but they're big softies too when you actually get talking to them. And there was some tears shed at the fact that they'd finally managed to go ahead and do it. But I think a lot of the success for that rogue roster that you're on as well, it's to do with the people behind the scenes. You've got a fantastic coach. You've got Meepy in there. You've obviously got Tristan. And then there's somebody that I don't think gets enough praise as she maybe should, and that's Bernadette. How big of an impact did those 3 have on the roster and kind of keeping you guys grounded and prepared?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. They do everything when it comes down to the mental of the team, just like motivation in general, helping us outside of the game and inside of the game. I mean, it's the first time I experienced something like them as well. I haven't had the opportunity to work with people such as them in other teams. For example, like I didn't have an analyst and a mental coach when I was playing tier 3 exactly. But yeah, she's amazing, Bernadette. She does like weekly meetings with us, looking up over things and preparing us, doing team exercises. We're obviously at boot camp and stuff like that. Tristan knows everything about the game. Amazing when it comes to his work. Same with Meepy. The guys are absolutely amazing, and couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So moving on, talking about this generation of gunners that you have. You've got people like Shaiko and Bolo who got in there before you. But people talk about you 3 now as kind of being the big 3 when it comes to exciting players to watch. Who's better?
It's hard to say because everyone has up and downs. But I mean, Bolo being the latest SI winner, Shaiko being the latest major winner. Yeah, and I also won a major just a few months ago, so it's hard to say. I guess we just have to wait until the SI comes up, I guess.
Yeah. It's not too far away either, and you're going to be repping new merch and new brand. Koi taking over Rogue. How much of that did you know about, in the kind of week or 2 before it was publicly announced? And have they been providing you a lot of support? Because Koi are a very big name in the media world, and they're kind of growing in that esports side of things now. Tell me more about that relationship with them.
It's a very new friendship. I'm not really exactly settled into it completely just yet. It's very new. We just went and announced it a few weeks ago. As seen on CGG, they posted a few posts about it, articles. But yeah, Rogue was amazing. It's still Rogue people involved, so I'm still communicating with them and back and forth. Just a new brand, new name, and yeah, just excited for things, I guess.
Yeah, well, look, we'll find out soon. So let's cast our eyes towards SI, and in a couple of weeks, the closed quals are going to take part for EU, and it's Nave's secret. Obviously the makers roster who've been to SI before and kind of, they've played that fairy tale out already. And then you've got essentially the ex-Empire roster taking part. What are your thoughts on those 4 teams, and which do you think are best prepared going into SI to maybe qualify?
It's very hard because Empire or the ex-Empire roster now it obviously has the experience, right? Being the runner-up from the latest Six Invitational, so they know what it takes, and they know that they have the mantle and everything. Of course, in the wild kind of meta we are in right now, we can see teams like MKers just pop off. We saw how they dominated open quals. I wasn't watching all of the games, but they were pretty dominant. So yeah, and then we have obviously these. We have Navi and Secret, both pro teams. Navi making changes, and yeah, anyone can take it, to be honest. I think. Can we see another MKers invitation run? Is the question. Yeah.
Well, you've got them, and obviously in NA, you've got reality TV as well. So there is 2 regions with a chance of somebody making that run. And then looking at SI, it's your first real, your first year in the competitive circuit. You've qualified for SI. You've got a very good team around you. You've already tasted success. Do you feel any different going into this event in Montreal compared to how you felt going into the major?
I'm very excited. I love traveling, so I'm very excited to go to Canada first time. It's just gonna be a lot more people, I guess. A lot more people. So that's gonna be different. But then again, when I'm zoned in, if we're playing on stage, it's gonna be the same. It's very energetic. The team is just gonna be levels above our current performance and before. So I'm just excited. And I'm excited to meet everyone, to be honest. There's going to be a lot of people attending it, so I am happy to see everyone, yeah.
Is Kanto going to want to sit beside crying again after what he did to his hand with those fist bumps in Berlin?
Man, the passion, I don't know what to say.
Spoke to Kanto after the game, and every knuckle was swollen. He says crying just walloped him after winning one of the rounds.
Yeah. I remember us speaking about it when we came back from the break, and Cantus brought it up, sent us a picture in the group chat, and then he made a tweet. But yeah, I mean, crying when we came back from the break, and we were talking pre-stage 3, and we were discussing his knuckles. Crying was like he had this excuse where he didn't really use his fist or something. I can't remember. Yeah, he was just like palming it. But yeah.
So, I've been told to ask you another question as well, and it was. During the major, one of your teammates was a little bit down, and I heard you did something to cheer them up or get them back up. Do you wanna share with us what that was?
I think this was about Leon. Yeah, I think that was about Leon Goods. And this was when, so the first day of groups went amazing. We won 2-0. First we won the first game against them on Kia 7-1 or 7-2, I think. And then we went up against Xset. We won against them as well. So we went 2-0 for the day. Next day, we lost both games. And, going into day 3, we like to hang out in other people's hotel rooms before going to the venue and stuff like this. So, I just went in there. Of course, Leon has his girlfriend over. I just went over me and Tristan, we just went over to Leon, and we said, do this one act, just, refresh the mental, we get your burgers, we get your fries, an Oreo drink, and, had his girlfriend there, so, yeah.
It worked.
She sorted him out, for sure. I don't know what to say.
a lot of love for AJ. We have a lot of love for AJ,
a lot of
too.
Love.
I think that's the thing. We keep talking about the atmosphere in the team. You've got people like Leon in there, Deepak, you've got Kanto, Crying, very different personalities, but everybody seems to have a laugh. And I think the one thing I could say is nothing you guys say in scrims or do is safe, is it? Because it looks like screenshots are taken straight away, and you guys are not afraid to call each other out.
Yeah, we have that kind of banter between us. We don't really care as long as we don't do like very, very bad stuff, right? So, yeah.
So, let's talk then about your experience in Siege, and we'll make it more about other players. You know, there's always people who have teams that they don't like playing against, or players that have their number, or just somebody you don't like getting into a gunfight with. In your career so far, who is the one player, not necessarily that you say is the best player you've played against, but the player that you find the most annoying to get into gunfights with?
I think during the Berlin Major, to be honest, the grand final, Cyber, he was very annoying to be like up in your face. You know, him on Fink was absolutely like he was smashing it. So that guy was hard to take down. So I would put him up there as one of the most annoying players I played against for sure.
And who would you
know how good he is?
And who would you say is kind of not, once again, not the easiest player you've played against, but the player whose number you have? You know, there's that one person that you're like, yeah, I've killed him again.
Oh, I've never thought about this actually. Wow, that's so hard to come up with just like that. I don't know. I actually can't think of anyone. I think I need to think that one through.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll come back to that one at the end. So next we'll talk about the World Cup that never happened, and we were talking maybe a Euros. Team Sweden, it'd be an interesting one because I think the talent pool, it's still strong, but there's not as many players in and around the pro scene that you'd be picking from. If you were to build a Team Sweden and you can pick from retired or current players, who would you have on your side?
I would probably do like for Team Sweden. I'll probably do something with me and then maybe like ex-Chaos players probably. You know, bring back Reynolds, all players like that, Crips, Red Groove, Secretly, you name it, Vitolin, something along this line. Maybe slap Fabian in the mix as a coach or as a player. Who knows? As an IGL, that could be perfect actually. But yeah, now I'm the only one who plays Pro League that are active from Sweden, pretty sure. So active player wise, I think you'd have to make like kind of a Nordic team instead. But like you said, retired, if that counts, then like Chaos, Fabian, kind of a mix for sure.
Yeah. So, well, we're coming kind of to the end now, and your day's pretty swamped. Let's breathe. You've got competitive practice. You're obviously always trying to put out the best content that you possibly can as well, because that's a big part of who you are. How do you actually get some downtime? Like, what do you do in your spare time to relax and decompress? Because for you, Siege kind of is life right now.
I mean, yeah, obviously, I play the game pretty much all the time, every day. Obviously, if I get a clip in scrims, I can't use them on YouTube, obviously, because that ruins, you know, our strats and whatnot. So I scrim every day. We have quite a light schedule. We're actually known for that. I think Meepy made a tweet just after we won the Berlin Major about how light our schedule was and stuff like that, which I believe in. I think it's good. I mean, we play a lot of Siege outside of the game as well. So we get a lot of ideas and stuff from that side of things. But I have 2 off days where I hang out with friends and I go out and stuff, which are the weekends. But then during the week, it's just game time, to be honest.
And what advice would you give to that next generation of talent coming through? You know, those people who are about to age in, you know, those YouTube content creators who are looking to make their way into comp. You've been there, you've done it, you've made the transition better than most people I can think of. What advice would you put out there?
Having contacts is key, for sure. I made a lot of contact just by like playing ranked at a high level, you know, by being in the highest, you know, champ ranks, and you add people and you get to know people that way. And then eventually get to these pro players and, you know, kind of people. Streaming is just like all about consistency, be unique, you know, find your niche or whatever. I kind of had that niche of, you know, when I started popping off on YouTube and stuff, that was when, you know, the champion rank, as we know, I just got released, so I kind of hopped on that trend. I was like the first guy to like get it, so that helped me blow up my brand a bit. So you gotta find this niche. I know it's hard sometimes, but yeah, just be yourself at the end of the day as well. And for comp, I would say, like I said, like grow your network with people, get to know more people, and always surround yourself with people that wants to be better. Yeah, so you don't become one of these, so you don't fall into the trap of the people you don't want to, like, so you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So, yeah.
you kind of spoke about surrounding yourself with the right people and that whole idea of staying grounded. Who have those people been for you? Like, who are the people who have been keeping you grounded, keeping your head down? Because, like I said, you've had a lot of success on YouTube, a lot of success streaming. Now you've had success in Siege. Lots of money that comes with that too. Who has been the key to keeping you, the likable fella that you are?
There's a lot of people like within the team. Tristan is one of them. Like, I knew Tristan before I got into Rogue. He got me into Rogue from the beginning. Like, he pitched the idea and everything. Of course, I love the whole team. Obviously, you gotta love the environment. Otherwise, you can't grow as a person and as a player in there. But yeah, just my own manager as well. He's my old friend from like years back. So obviously that's a part of it. And yeah, it's always like picking because like I've had bad friends in the like in the past, even whether that be in real life or in the game environment. So always try and like seek those people that want better, if that makes sense, in a way.
No, it does. So, as we wrap up, anything you want to tell to the Koi fans out there or Spoit fans ahead of SA?
Someone's Koi, the hashtag, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited for SI, to be honest. Excited to see everyone there. It's going to be an amazing time, and I hope you guys are going to go there. And and thanks again for having me, Gibson.
Look, it's always a pleasure, and always. I should be thanking you. Let's be real. You're the one here who's got a bigger fan base than me. So look, thanks for joining. It was a pleasure talking to you. Anyone watching at home, if you haven't already, give Spoit a follow on all of his socials. Follow him on YouTube. Anything you can do to support the guy, because he's got a massive future ahead of him. But look, I've been Gibson. You've all been great. Stay safe, and we'll see you all soon.